We are Pueblo High School. We are so grateful and honored to have met Rosalio Muñoz, a founding member of La Raza publication and one of the leaders of the Chicano movement from the late 1960s and 70s. This documentary is about freedom, power, education, and history through the voice of Rosalio Muñoz. He taught us so much about the history of our community, but more importantly on how the walkouts and blowouts took place at Pueblo and Lincoln High School. Part of this documentary was recorded in the basement of the Church of the Epiphany, where La Raza publication originated from. After meeting Rosalio, students at Pueblo High School are reminded on how important it is to stand up for what you believe in, especially in the political climate we are in.
My name's Rosalio Muñoz. I'm from Northeast LA. I came up middle class. My parents were educated. My brothers and sisters, older, were already going to college. I thought, well, I'm not really a big leader like the kids that walked out of school or others. But when I actually got drafted, it was on Mexican Independence Day, September 16th. And I said, wow, having been a student body president at UCLA, the first Chicano, and then getting drafted and saying no on Mexican Independence Day would be very powerful. When I went to report, actually I was happy. Because I was getting that off of my back, and I thought, I was convinced I was doing then and in the future something that our community needed, that our country needed, and that the world needed to stop what we were doing in Vietnam. And so actually when I went and we had a big demonstration in front of the draft place where they took you in to give you a physical and everything, I was happy. There was like 100 people in the MECHA, the Chicano Student Organization, and the peace movement, and they were picketing to support me. And they took a lot of pictures, but there's this one picture they made art, and it's in a big mosaic in Highland Park on Figueroa Street, and it shows me, I'm all happy going like this, because I had that off my mind, and I felt I'm doing something good for my community, for our city, and for our country and the world. We have to look at the deep causes, and we have to be aware these things happen, and we have to be able to vote. I hope those of you who are going to be 18 before November, you can register and vote right now, and you will be able to vote in November, because that's an important time for us to be voting. And we have low voting rates. When we don't vote in the biggest as other communities, the mayor's going to look at it, the governor, and says, well, there's more votes over there than in Lincoln Heights. And then they'll say, well, where am I going to pay more attention? Those are kind of problems I see. We had those problems back then. We took some steps, but then they changed the rules. So we have to organize. And only when it's somebody that's affected, start speaking out and telling the truth. Whether it's about being DACA, undocumented, or whether it's about not being able to pay the high rents that they have today, you have to speak out. Or like in my time, when you're getting drafted and your community is getting drafted more than others, you have to speak out. Because when the one that's affected speaks out and is telling the truth, that convinces other common people in our country. And then we all have to be together to make the changes that are needed.